Hey folks, so people get the impression, if you watch US media, that somehow China is just hurting, that China is just in huge amounts of pain because of Donald Trump's tariffs. Well, that's pretty much a load of malarkey. If you look at the statistics coming out now, I mean, yeah, it's affected them somewhat, but they're doing quite well. One thing that, China has always kind of listed as one of their weaknesses is the fact that they're dependent on fossil fuels. Just one second. They're dependent on fossil fuels. They got to import a lot of oil and natural gas. Well, if you look at the reports coming out, they're starting to predict that China is actually starting to overcome that problem. They're getting past the oil and natural gas dependency. China has the whole world to trade with their Belt and Road Initiative. They're building infrastructure all over the planet. I'm actually really excited. One of the things that China is doing at the moment is they are actually in the process. They've started the process of building what are called Hyperloop trains. Now, these are trains that will have, normal trains, they have tracks that are just exposed. These are trains that'll be in kind of a tunnel, and that they'll operate. And the way they'll operate is that the tracks that they'll operate on will be almost like kind of in a vacuum, like a mini vacuum. I know Elon Musk proposed this, and these train tracks that they're building, these Hyperloop trains, by 2021, they're predicting these trains will be able to go over 930 miles an hour. This is like a train that could take you from San Francisco to New York City in 3 hours, right? I mean, this is high-speed rail like we've never seen. They've got so many countries around the world they're trading with. And China is really pushing alternative energy now like you wouldn't believe, really pushing forward solar energy. They're importing lots of oil and gas from Russia, from other countries around the world. China's moving ahead. This notion that Trump, by putting these tariffs on them is just making the economy grind to a halt and all the people in China are starving because of it, that's absurd. That's really absurd. China would like to trade with the United States. I think we as Americans would benefit from better trade relations. I think these tariffs are a bad idea. But at the same time, this notion that these tariffs are just going to wreck China, it's going to bring them to a grinding halt, is pretty absurd. The Chinese government is funding research into new technology, computers. I mean, they're not going to be stopped by these tariffs. Now, I hope that they can resolve it, but look at the statistics that are coming out now. If China was going to be, brought to the table and just groveling before Trump, it would have happened by now. It's just not the case. In fact, President Xi is getting stronger. The Chinese Communist Party is in a better position. So I think this notion that we're getting in the press that somehow these tariffs are just ruining China is pretty absurd. China's economy is going just as strong as it ever was, and a lot of Americans are losing out. The soybean corporations. I was just talking to my family out in Ohio. A lot of the people that are making soybeans, a lot of the farmers, they're furious because now they can't sell soybeans to China. Obama already put these agricultural sanctions on Russia. Russia's having a farm boom of their own in the Far East. All these new agricultural businesses opening up in Russia. The Russians aren't buying food from us. Now China, which was starting to, make all these deals. Trump was saying how great it was. He was making these deals where China was going to start buying soybeans and beef from us. Well, now, lo and behold, now China is not buying beef from us. So we're the ones that are losing out. China is speeding ahead. Imagine that. Trains that can go over 930 miles an hour. That's something we can't even imagine. This idea that they're going to just slow down because of Trump, that's just an illusion, I got to tell you.